5 trends that are gonna define 2026. Number 1, the individual empire. As I think about the individual empire, I think we're at a tipping point to what my conversation started in 2008 around Crush It. Crush It came out in 2009. It was like, hey, you can cash in on your passion. Then there was Grape Story when I started the first influencer agency. Then there was Crushing It. And now we're in this world where it's very clear to people that being an influencer is a business in a way that it wasn't 18 years ago. But more importantly, I'm using the word empire. In 2008, I said you, all of you, and this is still real, can make $50,000 to $100,000 talking about Alf and the Smurfs and all that. Ask yourself, what do I want to do every day for the rest of my life? Do that. I promise you can monetize that shit. If you love Alf, do an Alf blog. You collect Smurfs, Smurf it up. What I'm saying in 2026 is you can build an empire. Hey everybody, I know you're a minute into the video on YouTube. I'm not gonna keep you long, but I've gotta tell you about GaryVee.com/Stan. Stan Store, an incredible tech stack for creator entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial creators, is literally the tech stack based on what I wrote in Crush It and Crushing It, and really the thing almost all of you are trying to build. So if you are one of those people, go to the Gary Vee Challenge that I've partnered up with this investment I made in Stan Store. I believe in this. I believe in it for you. You'll see why I love it. GaryVee.com/Stan. Go check it out. Now back to the video. We are talking about individuals now, not just making money from brand deals, but there are 2 macro things that are happening that are massive. The CPG and consumer product opportunity that the Kelsey brothers just raised at a $200 million valuation on. When you look at what's going on with Logan Paul and Jake Paul and their brands, especially Prime and KSI's brand. When you look at Charli D'Amelio going for a popcorn. When you look at Emma Chamberlain and her coffee. When you look at all these, the Poppy and Liquid Death, which is a little different. Poppy and Liquid Death were brands, and then the founders themselves went up and became the individual face. Similar a little bit to mine. I'm more business, then I became face, then to business with Empathy Wines, which I did originally back then. And so it's similar to like building your brand on Instagram, but then going and standing up a Patreon, Substack. But in those scenarios, those platforms still take some of the action. When that's built on a decentralized server, not a centralized server, and not done by a platform that owns it, but by a platform that's decentralized and you own all the money, you're maximizing all of your revenue and not sharing it. You will share with the places that give you the attention. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. But where you're gonna monetize in a decentralized way where you keep 100% of that dollar, not 90 or 80% of that dollar. Number 2, Gen Alpha unplugging. This is so fun for me. I am completely convinced that young Gen Z, Gen Alpha that's coming next, and very honestly, probably all of Gen Z and maybe even young millennial are all understanding this is great, but, and more importantly, and. This is great. And by the way, I know you all want to demonize it. This is great. It's changed your life. I know we're all shitting on it, but like, how do you order food? How do you get a date? How do you like do a million things? This is great, but it's not the end all be all, and we don't want to live like this 24/7, 365. This and. So the unplugging is just the pendulum swings. In 2006, when I'm like, this didn't exist and didn't have any of the market share. Now it's gotten so much, and I think within the next decade, and I think starting in 2026, you'll see more businesses like this. I've just talked about a business where you get paid to walk with people, like literally walk with them. I think experiential, music festivals, going outside, going to events, just going out and putting the phone away. So would everybody else. So it's here. If it's here for me, it's definitely here for the 15-year-olds that are coming up the game. Number 2 biggest trend in 2026, the unplugging of Gen Alpha, which is an indicator to the unplugging of every generation. Number 3 biggest trend of 2026 that no one sees, the underpriced attention, the monetization of random content. Let me explain. This is a weird one. I'm excited about this. I think this is gonna be the breakthrough for some people. When I wrote Crush It in 2009, or 2008, came out in 2009, it was like, you can cash in on your passion. So if you're a hardcore Star Trek collector, if you really go crazy for 2 years on your blog at the time and on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube at the time, eventually you'll get to a place where you can get t-shirts sold, sponsorship, you can go speak at Star Trek Con and all that stuff. What I'm saying here is very different. This is about where we are now in overall marketing and overall communication, which is we're now in the interest graph, not the social graph. We're now in a place where I, Gary, could tomorrow make my first ever piece of content around surfing, ever. And even though all my followers do not follow me for surfing, the way the AI algorithms now work is when I post about surfing and why surfboards are good and why you should buy a surfboard from me or why this is a good surfboard or surf chalk or whatever the hell I learned about surfboards, that content is going to reach people that are in a high propensity interest of surfboards. Why is this important? I believe for everybody who's watching right now, if they started posting content of everything that they are interested in, everything, not passion, but passions, posted everything that's random to them. I just took up checkers, and the first video is them learning how to play checkers. So not only their passions, but their curiosities. The rise of curiosity content. You're curious, you're exploring, you're on training wheels, but you're learning. My brother AJ does not know how to ride a bike. I probably said that because I think it's funny, but if he started making content as a 39-year-old man about his journey on learning how to ride a bike, here is my belief of the world we now live in. For many of you, these random pieces of social content become the first indicator to a massive financial and happiness opportunity. The monetization of random content. You post something funny about sunflower seeds because you spit one out on your friend and you're like, that's funny, let's make another one. And you find yourself 6 months later getting $5,000 from a sunflower seed brand to do content. It's about a very simple concept, which is why not? Why not post something random all the time that you're genuinely interested in? You're not watching this video and you're just going random for the sake of random because you believe I'm right. Though honestly, that's probably not a bad idea either. But obviously if it's grounded in truth and authenticity, it's gonna work better. When all of you start putting out more random content, when that post gets 3 million views, it opens up the opportunity for you to build on top of it. Now you might not be able to. You get inspired by me in this video and you eat a pickle and you put out a video about pickles and it hits and it gets fucking 3 million views. And now you're even getting DMs from people like, what do you know about pickles? And do you wanna do a pickle and do you wanna come to the pickle festival? You might be like, I don't. And honestly, I don't care. And honestly, I have nothing else to contribute. Like, I'm very surface level. I just eat pickles. The Rizzler just says ridiculous things and makes a face. Like there's a lot of people that have made full careers about ridiculous things. The Where's the Beef lady in the 80s was like, she said, where's the beef? That was her career. So you could be a random spokesman or something of that nature. But if you keep it authentic, if it's something you really know about, or it's something you want to know about, it actually allows you to build in depth, not just randomness. And so your random thing becomes the documentation of your journey, which then becomes your monetizable framework of content. It's a left field thought that I think a lot of people are gonna struggle with grasping. I myself am in my journey of like really getting this narrative down, but it's very clear to me. Do I believe it's an invested interest of all of you posting way more often on TikTok, completely random stuff that is grounded in things that you really know about or things that you're curious about? The answer is yes. Let me give you, if you just got motivated by that, let me give you the list of what you need to do. You know, if you're gonna go down the random play in social, make sure your bios in your TikTok and Instagram are really tight and awesome. Meaning email, phone number, like knowing that people are gonna randomly see something. Because don't forget, there's a whole left field thing here. You're a lawyer that wants, or you're a golf trainer. You train people, golf lessons, you give golf lessons. You start putting out things about pumpkins, you start putting out things about wet hair, you start putting out things about porcupines. This is random ass shit. When your porcupine video gets 3 million, people are gonna land on your account. If they see that you're a professional golf expert and you do golf lessons and you have an email there and a phone number, of the 3 million people that see your porcupine video, 9 of them are looking for golf lessons. So this gets very practical of just general awareness, relevance on an individual thing you connect on. Some of you like me because we're both sad Jet fans, right? But then when you needed 4 years later some wine or you needed an agency, you went to me because we're Jet fans. Somebody loves porcupines, they loved your video, they may choose you to do the golf lesson. So there's 2 things. Your career might be about porcupines because you decided to go down that path, or it became a gateway drug to your service or your business because you won on interest in a micro moment, not a macro moment. Your profile's gotta be tight. Number 4 on my 2026 trends underpriced opportunities. the rise and continued rise of the continent of Africa. The numbers are staggering. When you look at how much youth of our overall population in a decade will be in the continent of Africa, when you're worldly enough to interact with many of the incredible young talent from these countries, when you understand that the way the world turns is every continent gets its time. Many of us who are in my age group watched the rise of Asia and the rise of the Middle East. It is very clear that Africa as a continent is absolutely the big winner of the next 20, 30, 40 years. And for many of you watching, this should open up the aperture. Do you have relatives there and you're like, wait a minute, Gary, you're saying that I can actually grow my professional careers growth is actually from my grandparents and cousins that live in Kenya or Nigeria? I'm like, yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. The opportunity there is extraordinary, both doing business there and two, understanding how amazing the raw firepower of the young talent is in that country from an intellect and hunger standpoint. Again, follow what I'm saying here, similar to what we saw in India, in Japan and China and overall Asia and the Middle East over the last 25, 30, 40 years here in the West, in Europe and the US. So huge opportunities, the cultural impact. I don't have to tell anybody that follows music, we've already seen the early indications, just like we saw Latin music massively impact the US over the last 25 years. We've already been seeing African music impact top hits in the US. African influencers, the culture, the food, the sport, and it goes both ways. Just like you're seeing manga and anime and Asian culture massively impact the West has massively, always, because of the Hollywood machine in America, impacted the East. The opportunity in Africa is very clear. You have to understand it. It's either direction. You're 23 and you want an adventure, and forget about even relatives. You're like a white boy in Kansas and you're like, I'm an entrepreneur. Wait, Gary's saying Africa? I'm saying Africa. So doing business, and obviously Africa's a massive continent. In fact, it's so much bigger than you think because it's misrepresented on the globe. And obviously every country has its geopolitical stuff, its entrepreneurial opportunities. Some are great, some are not great. Really no different than Europe or anywhere else. But overall, the impact's enormous. The basketball culture, both the African Basketball League, but the talent coming, Nigeria's athletes starting to penetrate the NFL in a massive way. Like, do I believe that? Yes, I do. Does it take patience? Yes, it does. Is that how great businesses are sometimes built? For damn sure. Africa's impact, massive. Opportunities, massive in both directions. Number 5 on big opportunities in 2026, alternative sports. This has been massive for me. I've been following esports for a long time. We represent a bunch of esports, Mongrel, Clicks, and all these great athletes in Vader Sports. Obviously, I got involved in pickleball early on. That's been very fruitful. I'm obsessed with what's going on with wiffle ball, padel, 3-on-3, the big three, and rivaled basketball, both men's and women's. I've had my hands deep in this. Obviously, many of you know my long-term ambition to own the New York Jets. Mondays in the fall are tough for me. I'm very upset right now. I'm filming this on a Monday after a tough loss. But what's very clear to me is that this is gonna keep going. I'm involved in slam ball as well. Like, this is gonna keep going. I had a conversation a few months ago about bowling. I'm like, ooh, I like that. The rise of UFC and esports in the last 30 years, very clear. Do you think these exhibition fighting matches between Tyson and Jake Paul and Mayweather and Paul and Paul and Paul, and do you think these things would work if social and YouTube didn't exist? Nobody would care. Nobody would watch. So it goes from YouTube to Netflix. This is going to continue to happen. This is the device that's changed the world, as we talked about, and there's going to be room for more sports. And basketball and football and baseball and soccer were invented by human beings. There's a kid right now watching this, right now on YouTube, who actually got inspired by my rant and is going to actually invent the next hockey, basketball, and football, and in 53 years we'll reference this video, and that makes me feel good. I hope I'm alive to get those flowers. The rise of alternative sports, because of how the media landscape has changed, is firm. All of you need to look into it, and it changes absolutely everything. And number 6 for 2026, because I decided, you'll have to wait for a special video in the future. Thanks for watching.